Alright guys, it's Friday night. I apologize for not having this video up earlier today, but we've been busy like you would not believe. Quick update, I do not have the injection pump back for the New Holland yet. I talked to the pump shop today and they've got it torn down. They've started the inspection, and what the gentleman told me is the face cam in that pump that drives the plate is extremely worn. And he said that's pretty unusual because those are very hardened parts, and it being worn like that is indicative of coming off a high hour tractor, which obviously this one is, you know, it's getting up there. So no big surprise. I don't have an estimated cost yet, but we're looking at probably another 2 to 3 weeks to get that back. So the injection pump will not be going on this yet, but if you follow my Instagram, which is GuyNWY, just like it is here, you saw some photos the other day. I had the pickup and the transfer tank and the pump off of our stationary fuel tank. I pumped out the 60-gallon tank on the tractor. I'm about to drop that tank here, hopefully this weekend, and replace the fuel sending unit and a bunch of hoses and a bunch of other stuff that's behind that tank that needs to be taken care of. Parts arrived yesterday for the John Deere 5320 with the loader problem. If we come up here, you can see I have both curl cylinders off this tractor. One of them failed and started leaking. The other one was already seeping. I figured I'd rebuild both of them at the same time. I'm going to shoot an in-depth video on that. The reason this has taken so long is the rebuild process. I ran into some problems and I had to order some additional parts. So subscribe now if you're not already, and you'll get to see that. I'm hoping to have that video up here just real soon. I'm going to be working on that tonight as soon as I get done with my next project, which is the little Gator 4x2 here. We bought this Gator in 2012, I think it was, and it's been an awesome little machine, rock solid, reliable. The buttons are broke on the cab, so you reach in through a window to open it that way. I built those fenders for it, but otherwise, I rebuilt the transmission right after I bought it, but that's been 5 years ago, and since then it's run like a top. So naturally, I sold it. That's right, it's leaving. The buyer just called me a few minutes ago. He is on his way over to pick it up right now. He came and paid me for it last night, but he didn't have a trailer with him, so we are about to pull it around front. The reason I sold this thing is it just doesn't fit our operation anymore. Previously, we just had a totally different layout. We were feeding the horses small squares, and we were using this to cart small square bales around, and it was perfect. In our new setup, our new location, it really doesn't work for us because we have to cover a lot more ground and we have to cover a lot rougher ground. And this thing tops out at like 15 miles an hour, and it only has front suspension, and the front suspension really isn't that great. I mean, there's like 2 inches of travel there, which ain't gonna get you very much. So this thing is leaving. We will be replacing it. I intend to replace it with some kind of standard ATV. I don't want another side-by-side. A lot of people, don't get me wrong, side-by-sides have a ton of advantages over a regular four-wheeler, but for what I'm doing, for what we need to be doing, a regular four-wheeler would work better, and I'll talk more about that. Drop the Gator key. I'll talk more about that in another video soon, because I expect to be buying a replacement for this thing here in the very near future. So if you're not subscribed, subscribe. If you have a suggestion on what I should buy, put that down in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you, because getting into the world of ATVs is something I have really not dealt with much. So if you guys have suggestions, I'll be glad to listen to you. But for now, I'm going to shut up. We're going to pull this thing around front. The buyer should be getting here any second, and we're going to get it loaded up, and then I'm going to start working on hydraulic cylinders. So thanks. All right, there you go. Gator's loaded. It's pulling out of the driveway. I'm gonna start rebuilding cylinders. I'll film that for you, try to get it up here in a day or two. So thanks for watching, and more later.